You stupid bitch. Yeah, you're a stupid bitch. You stupid bitch.
Welcome to another episode of Stupid Bitches Say What, the Aussie podcast about everything and nothing, but always with wine or some other type of alcohol. And your hosts, Skylee Collett and Sean Bino Hipkins.
Hi. This week, it's What's the Haps, the episode where we cover all things going on for the month that was June, with a splash of May, and our hopes and dreams for July. This is the episode where we generally get pretty damn sloshed because it is a double. But you already knew that, didn't you, stupid bitches? So stick around, and if you're at home or with your mates, pour yourself a glass. Tune in and speculate on the who, what, when, and where of the last 4 weeks.
Plus,
What are you drinking, Scott?
oh, I wasn't ready for that. I forgot I was up first. Okay, I'm on to something different. It's a cloud farmer. It's also from Marlborough. Marlborough, what? Like, seriously, all the
It's
time.
a region. It's a vibe.
We are so, honestly predictable when it comes to our wines, aren't we? It's a Sauvignon Blanc, surprise.
Oh, another recipe.
Because red gets me too smashed for a double episode.
Yeah.
It's from the Warraroo Valley in New Zealand, Wairau Valley. Is that north or south region? You don't know.
Yes, I am not from New Zealand, so
you live there
in Auckland for a year, but no, I don't know. Is it not the Waikaki?
No, it's Warraroo. Warraroo. We're terrible at pronouncing stuff, aren't we? We are just literally the worst. It's public school education, please.
State school. So I am drinking a little mixture. So as you know, I'm doing...
Wait.
Sorry.
What are you drinking, Sean?
Oh,
Bino Hipkins.
Thank you for asking, Sky. I am drinking, as we know, I'm on the vodka sodas tonight, and I'm doing a round of the absolute flavors.
AKA not as drunk as Skyzy.
Not yet. I halfway through the last episode, I poured myself an absolute raspberry. And I have to say that was quite nice. Got halfway through, near the end of that, as we started this episode, so I topped it up with absolute citron. And so I've got a tropical flavoring.
So you're mixing it up.
Why not? It's like a punch. I also have a cat laying next to the computer on the left of me and another one down by my feet on the right. And it's most adorable. I wish you could see it. You can call me Cleopatra if you like.
Well, my cat keeps meowing at me from outside because I've locked him out and closed the door. And
they don't like closed doors, do they?
I've texted Link a bunch of times. It's like, can you please feed the cat and put him downstairs because he's fucking with my mojo. Okay.
And I do not like it. Yeah, no,
can you sort the cat out, please, son?
Our cats do not like closed doors either. We have sliding doors, and if they're open and we're in the bedroom, they won't come near us. As soon as we shut it, bang, bang, bang. What you doing in there? What you doing in my room?
There's a fear of missing out, a bit of a FOMO situation happening, obviously.
100%.
It's all about them with cats, isn't it? It's all about me.
Yes.
It's all about why? No, I'm the boss of this household. Plus,
what's going on? I'm going to take a quick picture of the kitties, and I'm going to post it to our socials.
Do it
so you can see.
I won't take a picture of my kitty because he's just rawr.
How we podcast. Cat. All right, got that. So yes, it's been a bit of a fun month for us. Last weekend we had the premiere attendance of White Arrow Island White Arrow Part 1. Mission denied.
And was it mission denied or was it mission denied?
It was denied. So we had the premiere, I think we said it last episode, the episode before, of the short film that Vinny and I were lead actors in at the Elizabeth Street Theatres in Brisbane.
Lead actors plus.
Yes, it was a proper red carpet affair where everyone got dressed up. We had some pre-drinks. I still have to post the trailer to our socials. I'll do that now. Well, not right now. But before we had all
Vinny posted the trailer. I've seen it 1,000 times. It's one of my favorite things to watch. I've watched it so many times.
What's so dandy about them?
Tell us the line. Yes. Don't say from the beginning. Say the dandelion line.
And then I see all these dandelions and I just wonder what's so dandy about them anyway. And can I just say that was off the cuff? It was not scripted. That is what you call acting, people.
Oh, you just seriously blow my mind with your abilities. Thanks. Blow my fucking mind.
But yes, it was a 30-minute screening. So it's a short film and it is going to be available on YouTube at the moment. I think there's going to be some finishing touches done or something, but it will be available for people to access one way or another soon. When
That's how everyone becomes famous, is through short films. I'll
That's
have you know.
Good. Well, hope
it's just
and
how
podcasting.
It happens for every person. We've got so many, we've got so many fires.
I guess in every pie.
Nobody say. I think it was Stokes in the Fire or something. That's what I was going with. Oh my God, I'm drunk.
It was a fun night. We did have over 100 attend, and it was very nice having the support of our family and friends, Sky, being there. And we did have a fun night afterwards as well, though Vinny and I were shattered just from the emotion of the build-up. It was like another wedding, having to run around and say hi to everyone in a suit. But filming for part two.
We've had a lot of emotional weekends. We've had a lot of emotionally and socially draining weekends consecutively.
It is. And we do have filming for part two, looking at starting towards the end of the year. And we get to go through it all again. And so the sequel is going to have a few more people involved. I hear there will be blood. So it's a bit of a psychological thriller, I guess. And Sky, my fellow stupid bitch, is also going to play a part in the movie, which will be great. So
I would love to be covered in blood. I would love it. It would be awesome. I could just act the shit out of that.
Tell us what you thought about it. And be honest.
Look, okay, my honest review is that because I have an emotional attachment to you guys and I love you so much, I loved every single moment of it. I'd seen the trailer 1,000 times.
Excellent.
The film was everything. It was like the best premiere as well. We were like in a proper theatre. It was like a
cozy
proper movie theatre. It was like gold class shit. We brought in our drinks. Everyone that was there was friends or people that, were friends with friends. So I ended up just like talking to people that I'd never even met before and was like, hi, my name's Sky. I know Bino and Vinny. How do you know Bino and Vinny? And the next thing I was like in this whole big tangent of people who love you guys.
Oh, nice.
And we're just like, we know who you are.
It was fun because when we were watching the movie and like when we'd gone in, and as I said, like as you could imagine, it was quite overwhelming and stuff. So I can't really remember. It was the first time Vinny and I had seen the movie in full on the big screen. So I can't really remember all of it. And I'm just so keen to see it again. Just so I can take it in a bit more. It would have been
incredibly overwhelming, like the excitement of it. It was like a real live movie premiere. Like I was just like, where's the fucking red carpet? Seriously. Yeah. Where's the paparazzi? Come on.
I know. Well, there were photos taken, which I get put up. And I've seen a couple of you in them as well. You're walking down. I think you've got a mug and you're sort of holding with them. There was merchandise people. And I think you were holding a mug in one of the photos. It was a lot of fun.
I was loving it. And I was loving talking to all the people who were involved in it. And everyone was so passionate about what they'd produced. And they should be. It was amazing. It was such a great film.
It was
just, and the Q&A after. And like,
the little award ceremony.
It was brilliant. It was just so well done.
Yeah. So it's from West Gum Productions. And again, it was our first acting gig and it was their first movie.
Couldn't tell. You couldn't tell.
The acting's phenomenal, I have to say.
It was so good.
But yeah,
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm actually being serious. I'm saying the acting was so well done. At least in my opinion. I thought it was amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, props to Brett Murray, the director, Sam Rush, the producer, and Kim Snip Madison, who edited.
The snip.
She edited the movie and put it all together as well. So yeah, it was a lot of fun doing it. You're going to have a hoot when we do the sequel because Vinny and I
What
just
an
had such a great
achievement.
time.
What a massive achievement to actually do that and have a premiere with like people coming to watch it. And, you know, everyone was just like, at one point I was laughing so hard that I was like, oh, fuck, I hope the director meant for it to be a comedy because I'm wetting myself.
So give a bit of backstory with that. We were given a lot of creative freedom with our characters. We were told we could actually pick who we wanted to be out of the two leads, and then we were just given whatever we wanted to do with it. So my backstory that I developed in my head, so we're Mormons in the movie, and we're going on a mission, and we meet Fern Black, who's the only resident of White Arrow Island, and she does some, she's a bit of a nut job and does some
is she?
voodoo shit to us.
I didn't pick that up at all.
So we were given creative freedom of our characters. So because I've never acted before, as you may tell, I thought, how can I relate to my character? So I thought I'm going to make him gay, and I'm going to have him that is battling with his homosexuality and his faith to being a good Mormon. So that's why I sort of had to try and be a bit reserved. And Vinny's backstory was that he thought, how would I be if I was a Mormon? That's how he developed his character. That's how he developed his character.
How do I travel the world?
Yeah. But yeah, it was good fun. There was a lot of effort put into it. We filmed it at the end of last year, and then a little scene at the beginning of this year. And then for the rest of the months, it was Snip getting to work on the editing and then adding sound, and then Brett going through it and Sam going through it and having little ideas and adding them into it as well. And yeah, looking forward to watching it.
What a great job. Like, Kim did such a great job on the edit, I think. And Sam, just the whole presentation that she did. I love the beret that she was wearing when she was that person. Yeah, came up and was like, can you be quiet?
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Yeah.
It was so witty. It was so fucking witty.
Yeah, no, we had a great time. You're gonna love it when we get into it. When we get into the sequel. But yeah, so that's what's been happening. So this episode, we're going to look at a few things from the Logies, Justin Bieber's face, a little Eurovision
shit. I didn't know
update.
that we were talking about that. Okay, I didn't know about that.
Yes,
I'm just entirely focused on the Logies. I've got some wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Very good pieces from
the
it.
Logies.
And I've got a couple of little fun articles that I saw on Facebook that I thought this is relevant. So I'll add them in too. But they're a surprise for you.
I also have a cool one about an international diver.
Oh, very good.
Stay tuned for that piece.
Yes. Okay, I look forward to it.
That little tidbit.
I love our little what's the haps tidbits. All right. So let's get into what's the haps. So a quick update for you regarding Eurovision. So as we know, this year's Eurovision was won by the Ukraine. And with the current war that's going on, thanks Putin, you asshole, the country is not going to be able to host the show next year, which is usually the case. The winner hosts the next year, except if you're in a war-torn country and it's not safe, or if Australia ever wins. We have to nominate a country. It might be controversial, but if there wasn't a war, they may not have won anyway. But anyhow, but yeah, Australia couldn't host it because of time differences and whatnot, so we'd have to nominate a country. So
I accept that completely.
So with that in mind, the UK have been asked to actually host as a runner-up this year with Sam Ryder's entry of Spaceman. BBC haven't confirmed yet because they're the official broadcaster of Eurovision if they will do it, but I'm fucking hopeful they will. It'd just be great to see it in the UK. I think they'll do a fantastic show. Otherwise, apparently Brussels are also going to put in a bid to host it.
I'd like to see Germany do it.
Germany would do a great job too. So speaking of Sam Ryder, and imagine the hosts, the German hosts with their accent and everything, it'd be fantastic.
Oh, that'd be my pick if Australia wins. I'd be like, do it in fucking Germany.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome,
Germany
actually.
So much.
So speaking of Sam Ryder's Spaceman, have you heard it in the charts over here? We've heard it on the radio multiple times.
Tyler heard it the other day. I don't really listen to the normal radio.
We listen to it every morning.
Yeah, I'm not a massive. I don't like the talking. They always annoy me too much.
I'm not going to lie.
Considering I do a podcast.
But it's completely mind-blowing for me that a Eurovision song is actually in the charts over here. That's not an Australian song. So like Jessica Mauboy's We Got Love, you can sometimes hear. Same with Dummy M's Sound of Silence. But to hear a Eurovision song, I've never heard another one in our charts besides ABBA and,
But none of the Australia Decide songs were ever in the charts, and they were all amazing.
Yeah.
Especially, I believe
Evie Irie.
Yes. It was one of my wedding songs. I love it so much. It was one of my actual wedding songs. That's how much I fucking love that song.
And even
tag Evie Irie in this fucking post.
Even though there was some songs that wouldn't have been suitable. Even though there's some songs that wouldn't have been suitable contenders for Eurovision that we're in Australia decides, they should have still been in the charts. They were just that good.
100%,
like Suck It Being Lonely.
100%.
All of those ones. Yeah. Even that guy, Jude Law at the end. Jude Law? Or was that the actor?
They all had their merits. It's really actually quite sad that Australia hasn't embraced it the way that they should have.
And the radio stations haven't plugged it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up to them. But Eurovision fever is taking over the world and I fucking love it. So he's in the charts in numerous countries. I remember actually being in Iceland in 2019 and hearing Sweden's 2012 winner, Loreen, who I've showed you this song, that Euphoria, and playing on the radio over there. And I thought that was pretty fucking amazing to have a current Eurovision track playing in the top 30 charts now, though, is pretty special.
I just have to say that Eurovision has completely changed my life. Like, considering how much you have tried to get me to conform to it for so many years, and after doing it from the very beginning, from Australia Decides to the end, I'm like, I cannot believe I've not listened to you about this before. This is something that we will do for the rest of our lives forever.
Yeah, I know.
We are in like fucking Flynn.
You're welcome. It's okay. I think one thing it would be fun to do one time.
Watch Orphan Black, motherfucker.
Well, this is true. I think one thing it would be fun to do is actually watch some of the previous grand finals that we thought have been good, that you have no idea how they go. And you're just watching the songs for the first time and going, love it, hate it, love it, and seeing what ends up going through. But yeah, back to the Ukraine's win with Stefania by the Kalush Orchestra. Did you hear that they auctioned off their glass trophy that they won for Eurovision?
I did see that. Also, the hat that he was wearing. They also auctioned off the hat. And I saw the official statement that's come out in the last couple of days about what's the official body? The
the Eurovision, whatever,
Broadcasting Committee or whatever it is, the USBC or something, whatever it is. They were saying about how they officially have declared that they cannot have next year's Eurovision in
Ukraine
or any of the associated countries around it. Because it's
too dangerous.
Well, it's not just that, but also the regions don't have the capacity financially or like size-wise to support. So I think maybe Ukraine had tried to get them to think about other countries.
Like Poland?
Yeah, but they were like, we can't do it. And they had an official statement during the week, and it was just like, we can't go close to that. And also the countries aren't large enough to host us.
It would have been interesting if Poland had won with the river, if they would have been able to host it, or if they would have said.
Exactly. That made me think the exact same thing. I was like, well, could Poland have even really done it?
Yeah.
If they had, and you know how Tyler and I both feel about Poland, super fucking robbed. But then I wonder about how many votes went to the Ukraine that should have went to Poland because of the situation as well.
Yeah. I know.
Because you agree about how amazing that song was.
Oh, I loved it. But I also think Sheldon was robbed as well when he got his 2 fucking points. He did a lot better elsewhere. But yeah, look, Sheldon.
I'm Aussie all the way. You know that, but I'm not a massive fan of that.
I think he did a better version at Australia Decides than he did at Eurovision. But yeah, they ended up getting $900,000 American for the glass trophy and donated the money to the country's armed forces, the Ukraine's armed forces, to fight Russia's invasion.
God. They're all just about surviving through this horrible time.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Oh, those poor
In today's
people.
day and age. But, you know, and it's
Notice
sad.
how it's dropped off the news, though? Notice how no one's even talking about it? Notice how it's not
we don't know what's happening.
Because they're just like, it's not newsworthy anymore because everyone's heard enough about it. So now we don't hear it on the news at all, but it's still happening.
It's still going on.
The country is still war-torn and, you know, decimated by all this shit.
Yeah. I think it's amazing that Ukraine's still holding its presence. Because I don't think anyone thought the invasion would last this long. Fuck you, Putin.
It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific.
I know, it is terrible. But move on to something, well, maybe not lighter. Did you have a piece besides the Logies that you wanted to mention?
Oh, I did. Okay. So my piece is about the diver who fainted. Have you heard anything about that?
No.
Let me get to that for you, okay?
I can't wait.
So this American diver, hang on, I need to get to my notes. Anita Alvarez. She's a professional synchronized swimmer who represents the United States.
It's amazing that synchronized swimming. I don't know how they do it.
It is so cool. I love it. I do actually really enjoy the event.
Vinny loves it too.
But she made headlines. I can't believe Vinny hasn't mentioned this to you because it was such a big deal. So she made headlines.
What's her nationality?
She represents the United States.
Oh, okay. Did you say that?
Her name is Anita Alvarez, but she represents the United States. But her name made the headlines as she was involved in a life-threatening incident. She's American. Mm-hmm. The American was participating at the World Championships in Budapest before her coach, Andrea Fuentes, had to jump in the pool and rescue her. She actually sunk to the bottom. So you have to post these images when you do your tiles for this episode. So the images alone are just like, I can't even comprehend how hard it would have been, because I'm an okay swimmer. I'm not going to, to save someone's life at the bottom of a diving pool. You've been to Chandler, right? Have you ever tried to touch the bottom of the Chandler pool, the diving pool? It's pretty insane, right? Yeah. So they dive so deeply into the diving pool. And when we were young, when we were kids, we have a diving pool for people who are listening who don't know what Chandler is. We have a diving pool that's quite local. It's like an Olympic place where some Olympic events happen when Australia is involved in it. So a diving pool is so many, I don't know, hundreds of meters, thousands of meters. I don't know how deep, but it's fucking deep.
I wouldn't say thousands of meters. Mount Everest is like 1,000 meters.
When we were kids and we used to swim there, you'd see all the divers, but there was always a competition between kids. Like, can you touch the bottom? Like, there's no way of just sinking down. Like, if you're diving,
I'd say it's probably about 10, 15 meters deep. Yeah.
But you'd be like, okay, I'm going to try and touch the bottom, and you're like, hold your nose and try to jump in and go as far as you could to the end because it's so deep. It's super, super deep, right? It's a diving pool. So this professional swimmer, she was competing. Oh God, I'm so drunk. I have to look at my actual notes because
that's all right. Notes help.
So she's in Budapest, and she actually fainted during her, training exercises and sunk to the bottom. So what happened was one of her coaches dived, and the images of what happened are insane. So it's super, super, super deep. This chick comes in fully clothed, dives down. You can see the lifeless body of Anita Alvarez, who is a professional diver, who was, doing all her practice and all her normal stuff and whatever she normally does. And she was she competing? Yeah, she was participating in the World Championship. So So she was actually competing. So she fainted during it and sunk to the bottom. And the coach immediately saw that she was lifeless. Like, how the fuck did she even know that? And just dived in fully clothed and swam to the bottom and got her. And so all these photos of her, this coach swimming right to the bottom of this pool, grabbing her, bringing this lifeless body of this woman up to the surface. And eventually someone else saw what was happening. One of the other boy coaches just jumped in and also helped her. So there's two of them that bring her up to the surface. Jesus. for the fact that the first coach saw it and realized that she was lifeless and went down and got her, she would be dead. Imagine, like, there's only so many minutes you can spend underwater without dying, without oxygen. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like seconds, ticking by. That this woman realized what was happening and just saved her. That's not the first time that happened. That's the second time for this particular athlete that has happened to her. But what they said was, like, she's totally fine. There's no reason for it. It's not like she's ill or anything like that. But what they were basically saying is that their sport is incredibly intense, like any athlete sport, right?
Yeah.
You know, cross country, any
Just
type of sport
pushing
you
your
do.
body to the absolute limits.
Exactly. And she pushed herself to the limits and she did quite well. And the first time she fainted, she ended up 7th. I don't actually know what her results were in this situation. But they just need to be on the ball because athletes push themselves to the end of the earth. And that's what they're trained to do. Because
and then your body flipping and going through all these motions of spinning and shit like that.
She just fainted from the intensity of the competition and the intensity of performing at her absolute best, which happens to every athlete. But when you've got a pool in front of you, that's completely different. Like if you're a swimmer and you're at that, you know, you faint from the exhaustion of competing. If you're a marathon runner and you faint, you fall down.
You've still got air around you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the second time this exact same coach has rescued her from the depths of the pool because of the intensity of the competition that she's fainted from it.
Fucking hell.
And she's an Olympian. She's an American Olympian. I just think, number one, insane that they push themselves to that limit. It's like I can't even imagine.
Well, there's always a record.
Hello, Juan.
But there's always a record, a limit. And then it's like, okay, this is the fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt. But then in 10 years, is there someone who's going to be a bit faster, who pushes themselves a bit harder to get it? There has to be a time, you know, like no one's going to run the 100 meters in a second. There has to be a time where it's just going to be, okay, we've gotten to the actual best that they can do. You can't break any more world records.
Incredibly, like, admirable for the sport and their passion, their love that they push themselves to those limits. But if you're in a pool, you can die. Like you can literally die in, like, you know, 2 minutes, I think, isn't it? Something like that, where if you
can cause brain damage and shit.
It's 10 or something like that. But this is the second
I think
time
it's
this
3.
to this
isn't
athlete.
it? Isn't the rule of 3? So 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food.
I'm thinking of the Jeffersonian and my, you know, compassion for things that happen in burns. But I just think, number one, I cannot imagine being an athlete that is so committed in such a way that they would push their body to that extremities. But I guess people do it in different situations.
And people love it.
Different scenarios. But there's also scenarios where people like help someone when they're dying, or you know, you can push yourself to, you don't know what you're capable until you're under that sort of duress where you have to push yourself.
And they're a lot fitter than we are, so their bodies are a lot more able to deal with it. But this, poor bitch. I wonder if that's it, or she's just like, no, I'm good.
Well, I think she's still pretty great. I think she still achieves a lot of stuff. I think she's still pretty amazing in her athletic ability. It just means that she just went a little bit too far this time, and she needs to be saved not once, but twice.
And potentially a thrice coming along.
Well, just have a conversation with them and just like, what kind of life do you live? Like, how much do you exercise? Like, what do you eat? Like, you know,
yeah, I know. But you
about
know,
yourself. Let me relate to you in some way, because
the only thing I could probably relate to a athlete like that is the amount of calories they eat a day. I just don't burn mine off.
I love the fact that you can relate to an athlete like that in some way.
Just through calories. But speaking of international news, I had a couple of funny things pop up on Facebook today, and I thought, oh, these are what's the Haps worthy.
Ooh,
so the first one is a woman in Brazil officially married her rag doll. I don't know what year.
I did actually see this a little bit.
And now she has had a ragdoll baby.
Yeah, I did pop up on my feed. I did see that. I wasn't expecting you to talk about this tonight, but I was like, what? How'd she have a baby? in vitro insemination? Or...
Well, it's a rag doll, so I don't think it's like a live baby. It's a rag doll
It's a
baby.
fake baby. It's a doll baby.
Yeah, it's a rag doll baby.
Stop it.
I've got the pictures, so I'll post that. And
that's
well,
mental health times 1,000 right there. That's not like living in the moment.
I know, but like again with that stuff, I know there'll be a lot of people out there going, see, this is what gay marriage has done. People could do anything. I think it's
Oh,
like,
that's a leap, darling. Anyone who says that should not be listening to this fucking podcast. They should fuck off.
I'm not saying particularly the people in this podcast, but I'm sure there's fucking haters out there. But I think like she's not hurting anyone. She's married to a rag doll. It's fine.
I do agree with that actually. I do think at the end of the day, if you're a massive weirdo and we don't, we can never relate to that, but you're happy and you're not causing harm on anyone else,
including yourself.
Do what you do, baby. You do you. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm with that actually. I agree.
And another piece that came up. Now this is in Darwin, so it's not international for us, but for our American and international listeners, there was a video that came up of a man fighting off a saltwater crocodile in Darwin with a frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
I did see a snap of it, but I didn't know the history behind it.
I watched a little
protecting
video.
himself, or was he just
the crocodile's coming up to the crocodile's coming up onto his land and coming for him, mouth open and shit. He beats it over the snout a couple of times with the fry pan. The thing.
But why did he have the fry? Why was he out there?
He probably saw it coming up. Maybe it was he's got pets and shit like that.
Said,
he just
Misso, chuck me the fucking fry pan.
It's
so
Darwin. And it's probably coming up to his backyard. And he's like, get the fuck out of my yard, protecting his yard and his house. And he's just gone out there. Maybe he's got kids. And he's just fucking belted over the head with a fry pan and it's fucked up. I love that. Do you remember years ago the woman that a crocodile that came and grabbed her grandkid and she ran down and she wrestled with the crocodile and saved her grandkid's life?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I went up to Cooktown for a work event a few years ago, and we all had to get in this.
Cooktown's where you'll get it.
That's very north Queensland, and we were catching the minibus to the airport, and the airport, I swear to God, was a tin shed. There was no customs, there was no bag checking, and when we were going up there, they was telling us about this guy who has a crocodile that's in his backyard that he sees, he just keeps an eye on all the time and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck that shit.
I don't really I'm actually quite okay with crocodiles. I think they're like a live and let live sort of situation. If you don't fuck them up or don't put little small animals around them and small humans that they can take, I think that they are generally just like leave them alone and they'll be okay. But you certainly want a fence around them. Like if your backyard has
they will
crocodiles,
come for you
you're gonna have
if
a
they're
fence.
hungry. If you're sat on the edge of a riverbank and there's one there, he's going to come for you.
But it's like sharks, crocodiles and sharks. Like they're doing what they've got to do. That's part of their nature. When it comes to snakes, I tell you what, I'm fucking.
Snakes don't bother me that much. Sharks are my number one, and crocodiles are probably my number two. I hate them both. I think they're just savage, and there's fuck all you can do if one of them gets you, really.
Oh, you're dead. You're 100% dead. Yeah. It's a lot like a snake. If it's venomous, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, crocodiles and sharks. I just don't swim where there's sharks. The crocodiles, I just don't go too deep. Well, don't
swim in the ocean, you mean? Just keep it into your backyard pool.
Don't be a surfer.
Yeah. Don't swim at night.
Miles. Don't swim at Stratty.
Yeah, exactly. Amity Point. We literally have a place called Amity Point, which is in Jaws, Amity, isn't it? Yeah. And more international news. Justin Bieber. So have you heard about his face?
He has a syndrome, doesn't he?
He does. So he's revealed that he's suffering from a rare condition that has paralyzed one side of his face. Earlier this month, the Canadian
singer... It's a syndrome, though. It's like a syndrome that lots of people have,
It is. Well, not lots, but...
Not lots, but yes.
So the Canadian singer cancelled a number of his upcoming shows because of the illness. And on Friday... Well, not Friday, on a Friday this month, he told fans that he had been diagnosed with Ramsay Hunt Syndrome.
That's what it is, yeah.
So it's a rare neurological disorder that can occur in people who were previously infected with the chicken pox. if the dormant,
Stop.
yes. Now, forgive my pronunciations here, but if the dormant varicella zoster virus is reactivated, leading to shingles, it can affect the facial nerve and may lead to facial paralysis and hearing loss. So it usually, in the US, it affects about 5 in 100,000 people. And according to a British charity facial palsy company, charity, prompt treatment can make a significant difference to a patient's outcome, with about 70% of those who receive antiviral medication within 3 days of developing it making a full recovery. So that's still only 7 out of 10. And if that doesn't happen, the chances of a complete reversal falls to 50%.
Listeners, I hope that when you hear some of the things that we say, that you 100% take everything that we talk about with a grain of salt, because we are 100% accurate in everything.
Yes. Well, I got this from Facial Palsy UK, please.
Well, I was also going to say that I had the chickenpox and the shingles as an adult, and it was the most awful thing that I ever had, and I actually wanted to kill myself and go out and just like shoot myself because it was so horrible. But does that mean I'm going to get palsy?
Well, palsy, no, it's Ramsay Hunt Syndrome. So it happens to 6 in 100,000.
I could be that.
5 in 100,000, sorry. You could. But mild cases can resolve in a few weeks, the charity says, but more severe damage to leads to longer recovery time and lower chances for complete return to health. The thing he's got going for him
I thought you said complete return to hell, but you said health.
My health. The thing he's got going for him is, I'm sure, anything that goes wrong with him at any point in time that people are on straight away, so any illness or whatever, he's got the money to get himself any fucking treatment and shit like that. And if it did happen that he was one of the 50% that out of the 6, one of the 3 in 100,000 that didn't go back to, he's made it anyway. It's, like he's it would suck, of course, but he's been a sex symbol. He's got millions of.
He's already had a great life. I hear what you're saying. I hear it.
So he could.
And if you've got really bad health problems, you want to have gazillions of dollars, because a lot of people
especially
who
in
have
the US,
really bad health problems don't have gazillions of dollars.
And don't get the treatment and have to wait in the hospital for fucking hours and hours and hours before anything happens. And
no
especially in the US especially. No offense to our US listeners, we just know that your healthcare system is a bit
But
harsh.
even in Australia, like, we've got an excellent health system compared to like free health and especially emergency health. But if you're proper sick, sometimes you just go around and around about forever and ever and ever. Like, unless you've got someone who's going to throw money at a really educated doctor and help them, like, you'll get treatment for the symptoms, but you won't get the treatment that actually can cure you. That
you need to actually solve the issue. Yeah. But he did quote, and I quote, he did say, and I quote, "It will go back to normal. It's just time, and we don't know how much time that's going to be." So I'm assuming that they probably did catch it quite early. Because, as I said, like, if you're a singer and you felt your face going numb, you'd be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yes. Well, Justin, I hope for you for a speedy recovery. You've got a really hot wife, and you're in the prime of your youth. I hope you do well.
He is.
And you get cured very soon.
So you're a believer?
I like a couple of his songs. I never used to be. Look, I think him and his wife have a really strong love bond, and the only reason I know that is from things in media. And
that song, what's the song? Running about the chapel, running at you like a track star. Okay, wait another second.
I'm thinking of that my mama don't like you and she likes everyone else. That's that's my favorite Bieber song. My mama don't like you
and she likes everyone. But do you know that running to the altar like a track star? Can't wait another second, because the way you love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. Makes me feel so holy, 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 holy. Sure. I think the one you just sang, obviously. I think the one you sang is older than that one. So,
sorry, excuse me.
You're excused. Okay, so let's go into the Logies, big event for Australia. So for our international listeners, the Logies is an annual event celebrating Australian TV, which started in 1958. It's the equivalent of the Emmy Awards in the US. This
That's a massive leap, my love.
well, it is in the sense of what it awards is.
Oh, it's a shit show, actually.
But it is the equivalent. It's Australia's equivalent. We don't have any other award show that would match in any way. Just to give some context. But this year was the 62nd edition of the awards. And I also read that it's actually been in a hiatus for 3 years, which I didn't know about. But anyway, COVID. Didn't realise that. But do you know how it got the name the Logies?
No, I don't. Please.
So it was actually named after the inventor of the television, John Logie Baird, who was a Scottish guy. And Graham Kennedy, do you remember Graham Kennedy?
Oh, yes, immensely. Loved Graham Kennedy.
Yes, may he rest in peace. He suggested that the name be called the Logies after he won the very first award.
Graham Kennedy's home videos.
Funniest
my
home
childhood.
Videos. Do you remember when it got cut off? When he showed a video of 2 people rooting in a park, and Kerry Packer said, "Get it off now," and he lost the job after that. But Graham Kennedy suggested the
massive
name,
prudes in Australia, by the way, massive prudes,
especially back then. That was 89 or the early.
Yeah, I remember actually, because that was a Saturday night when we were kids. Graham Kennedy's home videos.
I loved it too,
and we laughed and had the best time.
I loved it.
They fucking canned it
after that video. So he won the very first award for that is now known as the Logies, but back when he won it, it was unnamed, and that's when he suggested that they call it the Logies. Some controversial, some slash facts for you. Controversial slash fun facts.
Can I interrupt, please, and say that if you're an international viewer or listener, Australia is very much dominated by 2 to 3 media conglomerates that literally
pretty much
present everything. There's no objective reporting except for ABC, and even now it's questionable. And
they try to get shut down by Liberal governments all the time.
Yes, exactly. So we are completely what's the word? Censored.
Yeah.
Censorship is massive in Australian media.
And massive. It sucks. So here's some controversial slash fun facts about the Logies. My first one is one that I wrote myself. This year, Survivor didn't even get nominated for the most popular reality program. When shows as
Honey Child, it's not as popular in Australia as you think it is. I love you.
It's pretty popular. And especially when you consider our reality shows. So the ones that did get nominated were Celebrity Apprentice and SAS Australia. Exactly. Survivor deserved to be nominated if those fucking shows did. Like, what the fuck?
I have to jump in and say something else, but we watched a recent episode of Bones, and guess who was one of the characters? Guess
Jonathan,
who was one of
the Palia?
How dare you know what I was going to say?
Well, because my next point is
Palia was one of the possible murderers, and he ended up not being the murderer, but he played that role like flawlessly.
He is a good man. But you know, in fact, it was snubbed by the awards ceremony totally. The host, Jonathan LaPaglia, didn't even get a mention as one of the most outstanding TV reality show hosts.
Fucking outrageous. He's Aussie, motherfuckers.
And Lego Masters won for that anyway. So another fact is in 1968, Bert Newton, who may also rest in peace, hosted the show. In 1968, he had to announce that no one in the most popular female TV category, so it was a category, won because voters believed the nominees didn't deserve the accolade. So even though there was nominees in the category, none of them won. That's 1968 in Australia for you, when women had the vote to vote.
Were right.
I think they had the right to vote, but yeah.
Yeah,
Indigenous people didn't at that stage.
No, they didn't. But women had the right to vote. But who really cares about women back in those days? It was fucking get in the kitchen, motherfucker.
And breed me a baby.
And cook me my dinner.
And here's a fact you'll like. It's my last one. Kylie Minogue, she is the youngest person ever in Logie's history to win the famed gold Logie for her role as Charlene in Neighbours,
which has just been axed for people overseas.
So she was 19. She was 19 at the time, and I'll come back to the Neighbours thing. But just for people who don't know the Logies, the gold Logie is awarded each year to the most popular personality on Australian TV. This year it went to Hamish Blake, the presenter of fucking Lego Masters.
Consecutively.
Anyway, so going back to the Neighbours thing. So I read another interesting thing today this week about Neighbours. So, as we know, Neighbours is being axed. I was looking when the last episode, the finale, is being aired, because apparently a whole heap of people are coming back for it. And I think Kylie Minogue's one of them, and maybe Jason Donovan and stuff, which will be amazing. But
I have something to add to that, but continue.
I was reading when the finale was being aired, and it's in August sometime. So it's being aired in the UK and Australia on the same day, obviously in Australia first, then the UK, then I think the week after in Ireland. But Australia has now started playing double episodes of Neighbours so we can catch up to where the UK is. The UK is ahead of Australia in Neighbours. Isn't that bizarre?
Well, should I just touch on something that I have specific about Neighbours to do with the Logies before we go on? Because Toadfish, one of the main... What's his real name in real life? It's Ryan something, I think.
I think he just goes by Toadfish.
So is one of the long-standing Neighbours actors, has been acting for over 15, 20 years at least.
He did get his kudos in our Neighbours episode special.
So he massively dissed the Logies, and this is one of my talking points, but I feel like it's really relevant because they pretty much put all the Neighbours stars that were there at the Logies in different tables, split them all up.
Wow.
They were all behind. They were like with the no-show people. They were like behind cameras. They couldn't even see the stage. Wow. And he went on breakfast radio and like outed them and was like, we deserve a little bit more recognition because of our contribution.
It's the longest running fucking soap in Australia.
And then he was like,
they didn't even get nominated for the soap category. Do you know that?
No. And then on top of that, the presentation at the Logies, and I have not watched Logies because I hate it. Again, sorry, Australian listeners, if you're really into the Logies, but I just think Australian TV is just appalling, and I'm not really into it. I want to support Australian TV, I 100% do, but it needs to be better.
Well, can I quickly say, there's a new Australian drama that has just come on binge called 12 People. It's got Sam Neill. It's also got Brooke Satchwell in it, and it's about 12 jurors who are in this murder case of a child. And we've only seen the first. It's a week by week thing. We watched the first episode the other night, and it's pretty fucking brilliant. So get on to that. You'll see that at next year's Logies, I'm sure.
I'm sure that I will. It sounds very interesting already, but it's just dismal. It's just really bad. Like, they're spending money on dumb shit. Like Australian TV is just ridiculous. Our channels are dumb. But so Tony dissed the Logies. So he said they were split up. All the people who were invited to the Logies were split up in different tables. So they were sat with like randoms and stuff like that. They were behind the cameras.
What did they do? So they were fillers, basically. And then the presentation that they did about Neighbours ending for the Logies, it was Natalie Bassingthwaighte and some other one, I can't remember who it was involved in the presentation, but people who had not been on Neighbours in over 10 years, and yes, were famous, but he was like, dude, we made the show. Yes, they became famous after the show. Great. Kudos to them. We love those people. But like, why not bring up the actual original actors who've been acting in there for, tens of years? Well, wasn't Toadie on there? Like, everyone would have recognised Toadie up on there doing a thing for Neighbours.
He wasn't even saying him. He wasn't even saying him. He was like, just brings like Carl and fucking Susan
but even
up.
Tony up
Like,
there,
let
everyone would
them.
have cheered as soon as he walked on the stage. He would have got no
Yeah,
ovation.
he was like, and this is the day after the Logies, he was like, I feel like we've been totally just
Snobbed.
not acknowledged and totally snobbed.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
so
unfortunate.
unfair because of what they've contributed to Australian TV. Don't get me wrong, I don't watch Home and Away and I don't watch Neighbours.
me neither.
And I haven't for years and years.
But
I did
Home
when
and
I was
Away
young. We
got
did
nominated.
Neighbours.
Home and Away was a nominee for a soap
They
opera. Neighbours should
deserved
have
a
been in there.
nomination at least because it was their final season. Fair enough, it might be trash because I don't even watch it, and I'm sure
But
it
so
is.
all of them are. Yeah.
Exactly. They had, and they was like, there was limited respect according to Toadfish.
Full name,
Ryan,
please.
I think it's Ryan Molyneux or something like that is what his actual real name. But he was like, fuck you guys, fuck the Logies, fuck Australian TV, get fucked. And I was like, I feel
his
you,
name
bro.
is actually Jared Vincenzo Rebecca. Oh no, that's in the TV show Rebecca.
It's Ryan Molyneux or something.
Ryan Maloney, yeah.
What did I say? What did I fucking say? That wasn't in my notes. I just knew it.
Yeah. Jared
so he was like
Vincenzo Rebecca.
They got dissed hard, and I feel like
it's offensive.
If Home and Away is allowed to keep going, then why, fuck Neighbours off? They're both exactly the same content.
Shit. Yeah, I agree.
It's really sad and really disrespectful for the Australian Broadcasting Committee or whoever does Logies. Fuck you, Logies. I never watched anyway. I hate it.
Hashtag Logies, sort your shit out. So what do you have, Logies, worthy for a scare?
Well, I had the Toadies diss stories, and then I had to parlay into that. So much maths drama at the Logies. So did you know who wasn't invited from maths?
No.
Okay, so the maths people who just shined and were just like in the front row. So the Neighbours people who've been doing television internationally for years and years and years and years were like, couldn't even see the stage because they were behind camera, fucking broadcasters and stuff. The maths people were front row.
And do you know the maths got nominated for the reality show and Survivor did not? Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So the maths people that were there was obviously the hot ones and the ones who didn't cause any drama. The people who weren't invited was Olivia and Jackson. Surprise.
I feel bad for Olivia. I think she's copped it really bad. And I think that fucking stupid, what's her face? Her rival?
Dominica. Dominica was there in her glory. She was like second row or something.
I think
she was like reveling in it.
She is just as nasty, if not nastier, than
immaturity
fucking Olivia.
Is horrific. Like,
she's a fucking mole. She's a fish-faced mole.
So obviously Carolina and Daniel were not invited and Tamara wasn't invited.
I heard that Tamara wasn't invited, actually. And apparently she didn't care. But
Dion was there.
Dion? Who's he?
The one who Carolina was supposed to be married to.
Oh, yeah.
The one that everyone loves. But so have you seen the other drama about Olivia and Jackson? So he was caught pashing some chick in a club, and then he publicly came out with a statement and talking about how sorry he was and how he wasn't prepared for the limelight and blah, blah, blah. And he regrets it and he's completely committed to Olivia. And she's like there, sat beside him, like nodding, like all the way holding his hand, like, yeah, we're so in love. It's like, dude, he cheated on you.
Well, she's now moved to the UK.
Run.
She's moved to the UK without him. And do you know who's starting an OnlyFans apparently?
Who?
Olivia. No, Jack. Is it Olivia and Jackson?
Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson's starting an OnlyFans.
Ew. So fucking dysfunctional. This is why we watch it. We watch it for the dysfunction of it.
Oh, totally.
But it is like, seriously, people, take a look at yourself as a human being and just be like, am I a good person?
No. You're not
help yourself be better. Don't worry about TV. Just be a better person.
That's what annoys me about Dominica being a fucking icon, because she's a fucking terrible person too. She's a fucking fish-faced mole.
And her and Ella were like prime place for it. Like, Ella looked absolutely stunning.
Who's Ella again?
The one who went out with your guy from your Bucks night.
Oh yeah, I do love Ella. She was great. She was a nice person.
I do love her. I think she's absolutely stunning, but also like don't be, a fucking victim.
Yeah. Yes. It's funny you say that, because the episode I was listening to recently was where we talk about maths for about 20 minutes at the beginning, and you were serving her about allowing that behavior.
Yeah. Just be stronger.
Yeah.
Seriously. Don't worry about being stunningly beautiful, because she is stunningly beautiful, but that's not all there is. Be tough. Yeah. Just be like, you don't want me? Fuck off, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Take back your power.
100%. So there was a lot of no-shows for a lot of the awards, specifically Guy Pearce.
For Jack Irish.
Also, Richard Roxenberg, who's been a no-show a couple of years in a row.
Because is it still the public voting? The public vote, but plus the
I don't know exactly what award it was.
I think it's kind of like Eurovision, where the public have half the vote and then production or whatever have the other half of vote. A jury.
But it's like Australia's like, why no support? Why such complete disdain? So Richard Roxenberg, who's won an award a couple of years in a row, he didn't even dial in a video, like a thank you video.
Oh God.
And he didn't last the last time he won. So it's
why are they even nominating him then? Fuck him. It's fucking, they're stupid.
I love it. But it's obviously because, do you know, back in the day, before Australian media became so important and then people want to come and film here because our country is so amazing.
Yeah.
The support that they got for any sort of independent film or any local film,
Hashtag White Arrow,
was nothing. It was nothing. There was no money at all, in the US.
Unless it was
they have
Crocodile
a union.
Dundee. Yeah.
They have a massive union and stuff They have an Australian Film Union. I don't know what the code is for it. But they're supported. They're revered. People want them to succeed. In Australia, it's
we have a bad case of tall poppy syndrome here, don't we?
Yeah. So they just.
Did you hear what happened when
about their roots?
So Sophie Monk presented the award that Guy Pearce won for Jack Irish, and so apparently she said
I haven't watched that. I want to see it now, considering that he's I love Guy Pearce.
I love him too. But apparently she presented the award and she goes, Guy Pearce isn't here, but I'm sure he'd be stoked.
Didn't know that.
It was one of the highlights of the night. Apparently everyone roared.
But he didn't have the time to even do a
video
speech.
Yeah. And then he did a tweet afterwards.
Smack in the face to the Logies.
He did a tweet afterwards saying something like, oh wow, looks like I've won an award. Thanks so much, Logies. Rah, rah, rah. That's kind of insulting too, considering that's where his roots started with his acting in Australia.
Because no one gave a shit until he was famous in the US. No one gave a shit about
I gave a shit about Mike in Neighbours. I specifically say in our Neighbours episode. I thought he was a hot
It's our
dog.
claim to fame. We want to claim them because they're successful. Before that, we never wanted to back them. We never wanted to support them in any way.
Well, speaking of which, so you remember, fuck God, what's his name? Give me some kind of sign, girl. Oh, my baby. Peter Andre. So he's Australian, but he never really he did a couple of songs here, fit ass body, had a couple of songs. Everyone saw him as a joke. He went to the UK, he got with Jordan.
They love him.
And he was huge. And then they had him at the Logies probably about 20 years ago. And he came out on stage to present maybe the gold Logie or something like that. And everyone was said to be, oh my God, here's Peter Andre, the international superstar now. No one clapped. No one did anything. And I think Molly Meldrum, who was hosting the thing at the time, just said, come on, guys, give him a round of applause. Rah, rah, rah. But yeah, no one applauded or anything. And Molly Meldrum had to sort of give the audience a talking to.
That's Molly in a nutshell. I'm going to do him in one of my backer times. It's already in my thing, but it's closely related to pop culture, so I don't know where I should put it.
Oh, pop culture. I think that's a good one.
His roots go back to 1960s.
But pop culture can cover it all time.
Mm.
So All right. So to go on to a good news story from the Logies this year. So as we know, Tony Armstrong, who's a favourite of yours, he's a
Yes,
sports
love
broadcaster,
him.
Indigenous. He won the Graham Kennedy Award, which is a new award, I think, this year since Graham Kennedy passed last year, for the most popular new talent for his work on ABC News Breakfast Sports Show. Vinny
Which
and
is
I,
the only news program that I watch,
well,
but
Vinny
it's
and
gotten
I,
a little bit too poppy for me actually lately.
probably Tony Armstrong's probably brought the pop into it through his popularity.
No, the other host, the woman host, I forget her name, but I don't like her. She's too boisterous for me.
Well, Vinny and I only actually saw him for the first time when we were in
Oh,
holiday.
he's gorgeous. He's so
Hobart.
hot. I'd give him 100%.
We saw him in on TV when we were in Hobart holidaying last July. That's the first time I'd seen him, and yeah, he's very charismatic, very charismatic. But prior to him being presented, prior to him receiving that award, he presented the most outstanding sports coverage award. Yes. And did a very highly respectful acknowledgement of the traditional owners of the Gold Coast, the Yagama people, and paid his respects to the First Nations people in attendance through a welcome to country. The first Logie presenter to ever do so. Can you believe that?
Shut the fuck up. Is that really the first time that's ever happened?
In 2022, it's the first time a presenter has done a welcome to country. And for our non-Australian listeners...
Head in hands.
I know. So for our non-Australian listeners outside of Australia, a welcome and an acknowledgement of country is an opportunity for anyone to show respect for our traditional owners and the continuing connection of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to country. The land was stolen from them basically when white man came over. Welcome to countries can only be done by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, while non-Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples do an acknowledgement of country. So the reason I'm mentioning this is that not only was it a beautiful thing to do, considering the award show didn't arrange for its own acknowledgement at the start of the show. Can you believe that?
I'm just gobsmacked. I didn't even know that because I don't watch the Logies, and I'm just shocked. And
Me too.
For people who are listening internationally, the Aboriginal people are deeply disrespected to this day in Australian culture. To this day. The fact that this is deeply disrespected.
The fact that this is 2022 and that award show hasn't
They're
done
not even
something like that
in our constitution, guys.
Yes,
they're not even in a constitution.
It's embarrassing.
It's a joke.
It's embarrassing.
It's not even embarrassing. It's just so deeply disrespectful and un-Australian. It's horrific. I hate.
Agreed. Change the date. And actually, I'd like to do a little special shout out to Samantha Rush at the White Arrow premiere, who did an acknowledgement of country for the land that we watched the premiere on and the land that we filmed the movie on. Kudos
and Vinny did it for our wedding.
Vinny did it for your wedding, yeah.
And I was like, oh, my heart. I love him so much.
I know. I thought that was great that he did that as well.
I nearly cried. I was just like, that's so, that's what everyone needs to do all the time. Acknowledge the past and accept it. And just
Yeah, it's not, no one's taking blame for anything, whatever. We're just acknowledging this happened.
We have a lot of things to take blame for, though, as Australians. A lot of things.
We need to say sorry. I agree. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is that it's not only is it a beautiful thing for him to have done, considering the award show didn't arrange it, its own acknowledgement, but as you could imagine, he's copped some flack from internet trolls about it. They were saying he was, quote, going woke, which I fucking hate that term, that people say people are, oh, you're woke now, and that you're calling people snowflakes for being sensitive to minorities and people of a disadvantage or wanting gun law reforms and shit like that.
Oh my God.
It's just a bout of thuggery in my eyes. But they also accused him of virtue signaling. And I had to Google what virtue signaling was. And it's explained as the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or the moral correctness of one's position on a particular issue. It's not virtual signaling. It's paying respect, you fucking assholes. So one.
Oh my God.
I know. So one Twitter user wrote, "Acknowledgement of country is virtue signaling that does nothing to further the well-being of Indigenous people in Australia, especially to a room full of coke-sniffing elites. It's time we drop this nonsense." So he wants to drop the nonsense of acknowledgement to country. Fucking scumbag. To which Tony Armstrong replied on Twitter, "Shut up, bro. I'm a black fella and I'm duty bound to respect the land I'm on." Like, go Tony Armstrong.
I'm a black fella. I love it.
I know. And I'm duty bound to respect the land I'm on. I'm like, preach, preach, preach.
What? Who even says this stuff though? Seriously?
Trolls. Fucking trolls. Keyboard warriors that sit behind a fucking fake profile because they don't have the balls to fucking show who they really are. Scumbags.
Just love everybody, guys. Come on. Just
chill
love
out
everybody.
and have a fucking barbecue. If it's not hurting you or anybody else, get over it.
Yeah,
keep your
have
nose
a wine,
out.
man. Chill the fuck out. And people always say, "Oh, you drink too much. Like you have too many wines a week." Fuck that. At least I'm not tolerant of people.
Exactly.
At least I care about the human race and actually want people to be happy and do not, fucking discriminate or put people into bullshit holes. I'm just like, you do you, baby. You do you.
And do it
take
fucking well.
Responsibility for your dumb history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously.
Exactly. People get so offended about shit. And it's just
we
like,
didn't do it. Moron. We know we didn't do it, but we have compassion for people who've been through horrible, horrible historic events. And we're just like, we're so sorry. We just, we just want to apologize, man. Can we make it better? How can we make it better?
Let's make it better.
You tell us how to make it better and we'll make it better. We'll try so hard.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And I'm happy to be a snowflake if that's what I mean. And I'm happy to be woke if that's what it means.
I'm totally be woke.
Yeah.
Way to go, Tony Armstrong.
I know. Fucking kudos to him. And then apparently he went missing after. Apparently he went missing after the Logies for ages because no one could find him. I think he just went on a bender.
Like, he likes to drink. You can tell he likes to drink. He likes to run amok. He likes to have fun, like all of us do.
Exactly. Without criticism.
Yeah.
Chill out and have a fucking Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Stupid Bitches Say What. We hope you enjoyed our episode of What's the Haps, involving our take on the current affairs that piqued our interest this month.
Next week, we do some true crime realness and delve into some dark Aussie stories. Make sure to subscribe to our socials, including YouTube, at Stupid B Say What, and tell your mates. Love you, stupid bitches.
Ooh, love you.
Bye.
Yeah, that stupid bitch. He's a stupid bitch. What a stupid bitch. That stupid bitch.